Well, welcome back, guys. This is Alex Himes with the Ruckus. I want to thank my friend, Coach Poncho, coming on again.
Thank you for having me, man.
Sorry for the previous recording. We weren't able to get it right, but this time we're going to, and we're going to jump right into it. And today we're going to talk about the Cavs.
The Cavs.
So for the Cavs, is IT, after we saw him come back last night, he dropped 17 points in 19 minutes, looked really good and solid. It was nice watching him get on the court. They gave him a great ovation.
Right.
But the big question is then, is he the missing piece?
I don't think so. Me personally, I think that I think he's a good piece for the regular season. But I think that with the Cavs, it's never about the regular season. It's always about championship or bust. And I think obviously he'll be some help offensively, but I just think defensively he's going to be a liability because the Cavs already have been having problems with defense.
Yeah.
Obviously he can score and everything, but I just don't think when you say the missing piece, I think of a guy who's going to come in and no matter what happens, he's going to be a benefit to the team. There will be no weaknesses, there will be no holes, and I just don't think that's the case with IT. They'll be good. There'll be some of the teams that they're supposed to beat. He'll score some points, but I'm just still not convinced that hip is healed all the way. Yeah. Not for his position. If he's a big guy, okay, you can bang in there. You can, you don't have to move laterally a whole lot. But we're talking about a guy that has to guard the point guard position, the position in the NBA where every night a guy can get, 25, 30 points on you.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say that he's the missing piece.
He's guarding. He's literally at this point where the NBA is. He's guarding questionably the best player on the opposing team for his position.
Yeah, every night.
He looked like it was, a half step behind, like we were talking about. But he's good. I don't think he puts them over the hump, but I think he makes them better in the sense that they finally have another guy that can get.
You got a guy that can go get buckets. Yeah, absolutely.
And they don't have to worry about that as much.
But like I said, he can go get buckets, but at the same time, what is he going to do on the defensive end?
Yeah.
You can try to mask him and put him on guys who don't really score and things like that. But at the end of the day, NBA coaches are going to figure stuff out and they're going to find a way to expose his size.
Yeah.
And especially in the playoffs where the game starts to slow down.
See,
he's going to get exposed.
Exactly. That's what I'm thinking. Like when it comes to the playoffs, if he was going to be the it guy, no pun intended, but if he was going to be the it guy, he would have to make that much of a difference, like a Vinnie Johnson type of thing. Like you knew coming into the game, if Vinny was coming into the game, he's got the microwave nickname for a reason. He's going to change the game.
Right.
IT can change a game offensively, but it's still, and it sucks because I was talking so highly of him last year, and I don't want it to sound like I'm knocking on him. I'm just pointing out that, like, for his position and for the team he's playing on, I don't think he's going to make that big of a difference.
And then also, you have to see how he's going to play with LeBron, even though I have faith in LeBron. LeBron is such an unselfish player, and he knows how to integrate guys into the offense. I don't think it's going to be a problem for him, but at the same time, we're talking about a guy who's so ball dominant in Isaiah Thomas. How is that? How are they going to mesh? We look at Kyrie. Kyrie deferred. He did defer, but at the end of the game, LeBron would defer to him in the big games. But I think a guy like IT, and not only that, we're talking about a guy that thinks he's going to get the Brinks truck rolled up.
Yeah.
So he's going to be looking to try to put some numbers up, and I don't know if that's going to mess up the flow of their offense and mess up the chemistry of their offense. And I don't know. It's just going to be interesting to see because you still have Kevin Love who's been playing well, and he has to still get his shots.
We haven't given him enough credit. Like I remember, like when they first got him, and then the year that he signed that big deal, it's like everyone's knocking him.
Yeah,
the dude has been the most consistent Cavalier.
He's played well this year, man. He's played really well this year, and the thing I like about him is that obviously he's turned into a different player than what he was in Minnesota. But the games I've noticed, there are games though when he has certain matchups, he takes advantage of his size, and he does go on the block and back guys down. So before you didn't really see that. You saw him just continuously just being a jump shooter.
Yep.
And when you're 6'10" and you're 260 pounds, and you already played that position, you played that way before, where you were a banger down low. So you know what it feels like, and you got it in you. You got to go back to it, man. When the matchups call for it.
Yeah, he probably has the best job on the Cavaliers at this point.
Yeah, his job is pretty sweet, man. All he has to do is play off LeBron.
Yeah.
Guys double LeBron, and he just spots up and shoots, and they ISO him sometimes. Yeah, he has it pretty good. I think he's comfortable now. That's what it seems like now. Yeah. He's not worried about he's not worried about anything. Now with Kyrie gone, I think that he's a lot more comfortable, and it seems like he has Ty. Because if you remember, it was that last season when Ty Lue was taking him out in the fourth quarters. I remember. So I think that he's a lot more confident now, and as we all know, man, with confidence, man, you play better and you feel more free.
Yeah. He's just looking good.
Yeah.
And then with the Cavaliers, it's just been announced that LeBron was told with a meeting with Dan Gilbert that he's not going to commit longer than 2018.
Okay.
Now, people are going to speculate all they want about him going here, there, and everywhere. But from a player's perspective, what does that mean to you?
Well, as far as what I think it means, as far as him not committing, I just think that LeBron, we have to remember he's probably one of the most savvy businessmen in not just basketball, in all the sports. I think everything that he does is calculated, and based upon the relationship that he has with Dan Gilbert. I think this is a calculated move to kind of get. Don't let Gilbert get too comfortable, and don't give him too much. Make him feel like hey, I'm your guy. I'm going to be here regardless. No. I'm going to make you, work and still try to make some moves to try to get some guys in here to get some more pieces around me. And then also, just see what kind of money they throw at him.
Yeah.
Make it sort of like, LeBron is pulling his card. Like, okay, so what are you going to do to keep me? What are you going to make happen? So I think it's a smart move because, it's LeBron James. So he has all the, he has the best hand because he can go wherever he wants. Anybody will take him.
Yeah.
Anyone
will pay him whatever he wants.
Anybody will pay him whatever he wants. So I think it's a good move. I would have done the same thing. And if he decides to come back to Cleveland, then he decides to. But if not, he's already told the owner and the fans and everyone else to kind of be on notice that it's not guaranteed that I'm coming back.
Yeah, I think that with this situation, it's like you can take it one of two ways. You can take it as he's already 1 foot out the door, or he's playing it smart, like you were saying, like get as much as you can.
I don't think he's 1 foot out. At sometimes I do feel like he's 1 foot out of the door just based upon the things that I hear about him being here in Los Angeles. But then at the same time, just knowing, just kind of from looking at him afar as a competitor, I think he wants to get one more in Cleveland.
Yeah.
I think he wants to. That one was. Obviously that was great. They hadn't won any kind of championships in that city since since the '60s. So I think he wants to get maybe one more.
Yeah.
So we'll see. It's going to be interesting to see.
I think that they could, if he stayed and he did exactly what we were talking about, how play the long game, make him kind of confused, make him on their toes and on the edge. Gilbert will spend the money.
Yeah.
He's been known to spend the money when he needs to and he's backed into a corner, but if he knows LeBron's going to stay, why should he shell out the cash for it? There's no point.
Exactly.
He's playing the long game.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah.
All right, so moving on to the West Coast, we got to talk about the Thunder. At this point, we were talking about this a couple weeks ago, and here we are now. In their last 17 games, they're 12-5. Paul George is averaging 3 steals a game. He's averaging a career high from 3. He's looking like the guy that's the glue guy, just enjoying and going with the flow of the game. Westbrook is, I can't knock the guy. The guy is almost averaging a triple-double again with 24 points a game, 10 assists, and I think 7.9 or 9.6 rebounds a game. He's still, in my book, I'm going to give it to him. He's still the MVP this year because he had to mesh with a couple different dudes, and he's still averaging almost as much points.
Right.
He's still doing what he needs to do every night, and he's almost averaging a triple-double. 2 years in a row, and none of us would have thought with Paul George and Melo he was going to average a triple-double. No one thought that.
No, I wouldn't have thought that.
And the Thunder are looking good, but some of the statistics say otherwise. Third in points allowed, 28th in assists per game, but they're still rolling. Yeah. So you think things are starting to click?
Obviously things have clicked better for those guys. We're looking at the last was it 12 games? Was it 12 or 13 games? Just the amount of wins, the amount of losses that they've had.
Yeah.
They obviously figured some things out, but there's still a lot of things that they have to figure out. I just think that when you have 3 guys on the court like that who can score at any given moment, you're always going to be in the game. You're always going to have a chance. Now, there's a lot of things I don't like about, what they're doing. I still, like you said, with the assists, I don't like that. The ball needs to be shared more. You can't win. You can win in the regular season. You can beat some of the sub-level teams, but when you start playing against the big teams, and I'm not talking about just a one game, like how they got Golden State, they beat them by 30. I'm looking already ahead to a series.
Yeah.
When you start talking about a series and guys making adjustments, coaches making adjustments, what are you going to do? If you are a team who doesn't share the ball, then they're going to start playing, they're going to do defensive schemes to make guys, get in their non-comfort zone because they know you're not passing, so that means you're not comfortable doing it. So, they'll start throwing out schemes to, get the ball out of Russ's hands because everyone knows that Russ is the engine that makes everything go. So now when you take the ball out of Russ's hands, we're going to see what is everyone else going to do. But I just think that, I would like to see more assists. I would like to see more guys setting screens from 1 through 5, like Golden State. That's what I love about Golden State. Steph Curry sets just as many screens as Draymond sets, which is why what people don't understand. One of the things that I always teach kids is don't look at the coach, in a funny way when he tells you you're going to be our screener. Take advantage of it. The guy who sets the screens most of the times is the guy that gets open.
Yeah.
Because your defensive man relaxes. And that's one of the reasons why, Steph gets open so much misdirection. They have Steph going out setting a lot of screens, and all it is really for him to get the shot. But it looks like he's trying to get other guys open, but it's really not like that. So I think that if Russell was to do that, I think that Russell would find himself getting even better shots, getting open a lot more. I don't see Carmelo doing that. I don't see that being something that Carmelo would really do as far as like setting the screens. And Carmelo obviously he can't move like he used to. He loves that mid post block, which is fine. I think Carmelo has done a better job of coming off the ball a little bit better.
Yeah.
He still, kind of dribbles the ball a little too much, but he's better. Paul has acclimated really well. But Paul George is just that kind of guy. He just seems like he just can go with the flow and just play with anybody.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I like about him. He's not ball dominant. He can be ball dominant if he wants to, but he won't be ball dominant if he needs to get other guys involved.
Yeah.
Which is what I like. But I think they got a long way to go. I don't like them in a series against anyone right now. I like them as far as like playing when they play Golden State, Houston, those big teams, they'll get up for those one games. But as far as in a series, right now, I wouldn't put my money on them.
Funny timing on that, too.
Yeah.
Paul George and the Lakers.
Oh, right. Yeah. We'll see what happens. I mean, he did an interview yesterday where he was really honest about wanting to go to the Lakers last year when he was with Indiana. So I think it's one of those things that, is just still on the table for him. I mean, you can't knock him. I mean, the guy's from Los Angeles. He grew up watching the Lakers.
Man.
Hey.
Anyway, it doesn't matter who you are. If you're an NBA player or any athlete, and your team has your city has a team, you're gonna want to go there. You're gonna want to gravitate towards there.
Yeah.
That's just home.
Yeah. So I mean, we'll see with the Thunder, man. Like I said, as of now, I don't see them beating anyone in the series. Things can change. Hopefully, they do change. I want them to change. So we'll see.
All right, so we're talking about now the Celtics and what's more likely with this situation. So as we stand right now, we know that the Cavaliers need at least one more player. They need at least something to get over the hump because where they stand, IT's great, but they're not going to win the finals with this roster. So what's more likely to you in your case? Do you think that the Cavaliers make a mid-season move, or do you think that Anthony Davis ends up in another uniform, potentially in green?
Man, you know what? As far as the Cavaliers, it's just so hard to kind of gauge, man, because it's all based upon LeBron.
Yeah.
And I think that with Gilbert, who knows if Gilbert is saying, you know what? Maybe he goes, if LeBron's not going to commit, I'm not making any moves in the midseason or trade.
Yeah.
I'm not. Why am I going to do that? LeBron's not even staying. It's going to mess up our cap, or it's going to mess up our future, or the direction we want to go.
Yeah.
I mean, it could go that way. So it's like, what's going to happen?
And like any trade they make, we've talked about how like their real asset now is that Brooklyn pick.
Right.
So if they do make a trade, they're going in on a guy and missing out on what could be, if LeBron leaves, their savior.
Exactly.
Or like the next phase.
Right.
Yeah,
so I don't know, man. I don't know if that's going to happen or not, because it's like, does LeBron go to Gilbert like, hey, what are we going to do as far as, trades are concerned? We're going to get somebody in here. And then, like I said, Gilbert comes back and says, well, you're not even committed. So, we're not going to do that. So we'll see. I mean, with what they have right now, I don't know if they can't win the whole thing, but I think they can make a serious. It's LeBron. I mean, the way he's playing. So I mean, anytime you have LeBron, I mean, you got a serious chance.
I gotta say, like, as much as I don't like the Cavaliers, LeBron has played the best season I've seen him play since that last season in Miami.
He's incredible, man.
Like, he looks so. It's hard for me to say because it's just like I don't want to admit it.
Yeah.
But on the flip side, it's like this guy looks so damn good.
Incredible, man.
He is the.
Yeah, 33 years old, and he's getting better. No.
He is the second best player I've ever seen in my lifetime play. First being Kobe, because I grew up watching Kobe. Then it's LeBron.
Okay.
And when LeBron finished,
it's too young to see Jordan.
Yeah. Right. But like overall, to me, Michael Jordan is still the best player to ever touch a basketball.
You've seen.
Yeah.
Right. I get it.
By the end of his career, I think LeBron will be better than Jordan.
As far as
player. All around player. Jordan was the better winner and the better champion.
I think that already, to me personally, he's already a better all-around player than Jordan was.
Yeah.
When you say all-around,
yeah,
assists, rebounding,
yes,
physicality, score, definitely. But as far as a better player, see, that's the crazy part. You say better overall player.
There's like two different meanings.
Better player.
Yeah.
I got to go with Jordan as the better player.
Yeah.
But better overall player, I'll say LeBron.
Yeah, LeBron I feel like is more well-rounded.
Oh, yeah, man.
But Jordan was still, like, in everything LeBron could do.
He's Magic Johnson and Jordan combined.
Yeah.
I mean, those two, if you combine those two, that's him. You know, that's him, man. You know?
Damn, that's a good comparison.
That's it.
Everything that you've seen in the NBA from two different, like, spectrums, just put into one, and it's LeBron.
Yeah, it's LeBron. Yeah.
But then with the Celtics, you think that trade's a possibility?
For Anthony Davis?
Yeah.
I mean, in this business, man, anything's a possibility.
Fair. This summer should have said, taught me anything, it's that no one is safe.
No one's safe. I don't know, man. I got faith in Danny Ainge to make the right decision. It seems like he's been doing, I know people what was that, 2 years ago, people were ripping him. They were like, now it's kind of like you look back and you're like, wow, okay, he played everything pretty well.
Yeah.
So...
I like the idea of getting Davis, but if it means all the stuff that we'd have to give up to get him, like Tatum, Rozier, the pick, and then most likely Al Horford for the money, it's like, man, can we just enjoy what we have right now? Like, they're doing so well. Everyone was giving Ainge crap before the Big Three era began. They were collecting assets.
Right.
Here they are, and it's literally...
It's paying off.
It's the same thing again. Yeah. He did the same exact thing. Yeah. He was cashing in all their moderately decent pieces, doing kind of like a Sam Hinkie thing, just a much more successful one.
Right.
And I guess because Danny Ainge has a face with the franchise, he was able to get away with it a little bit more than Hinkie.
Yeah, it was because it's Danny Ainge.
Yeah, and it's like Danny Ainge, Celtics, like, yeah. And, he's gotten lucky, but he's gotten lucky because he's smart with it.
Yeah.
And if he were smart, I would say wait till this offseason and potentially sign his teammate, Boogie Cousins.
Wow.
In
like
free
him
agency.
In Boston?
Man, I've been the guy that has said, please trade for Boogie Cousins since he was in Sacramento. I've been that guy who's constantly said that if Danny Ainge could acquire him in some way, shape, or form that wouldn't ruin the chemistry and wouldn't ruin what we had, go all out. I was the guy that said at one point, trade Marcus Smart, Avery Bradley, 2 picks, and I forget at the time who it was, like one of our decent players at the time, to Sacramento just for him, and I was all in for it.
I'm trying to picture Boogie Cousins with Boston.
Cousins, Kyrie, Jaylen Brown, Tatum, Al Horford.
And what's the name coming off the bench? But Baines.
Baines coming off the bench.
That.
And then when Hayward's healthy, put Tatum on the bench, insert Gordon Hayward. Your lineup is Kyrie, Jaylen Brown, Gordon Hayward, Al Horford, DeMarcus Cousins.
Wow. That'd be interesting to see. Can what's your coach's name?
Brad Stevens.
Brad Stevens. Can he coach Cousins?
I think if there's anyone in the NBA that can coach, if there are 2 universal coaches, I feel like that can coach players in the NBA. That's Greg Popovich can coach any player. Put anyone in there. Put even Latrell Sprewell there.
Absolutely.
He would have been coached.
Absolutely.
Put Brad Stevens with players. He was able to coach Rondo and get along. Rondo had nothing bad to say about Brad Stevens.
That's a good point.
Nothing bad to say about Brad Stevens. Rondo, Avery Bradley, Marcus. Like, think about all the different personalities that he's coached. Like, it's not even that they've been good guys. It's that there are different personalities that are coming in and out of this team, and he's been able to make them mesh. He made a guy like Jordan Crawford go from a forgettable player to 2 first-round picks in a season.
Yeah.
This guy can coach.
No, he's a great coach, man. I like him a lot, man. I like him a lot. I think he's got a great future in the NBA.
Yeah, man. Yeah. All right, so from a player's perspective, we talked about this before, but from a player's perspective, would you rather play out into the twilight of your career when you're on the downturn, or would you rather play and then win and then retire on top?
Yeah, I'd rather retire on top.
Yeah?
Yeah, maybe it just depends on my body, and I know we used this analogy before as far as talking about Dirk. I mean, I hate watching him out there now, man.
Yeah.
It's like he's just lumbering up and down the court, man, and he's clearly not the guy that he once was before, and they're losing really bad. It's like, Dirk,
what's the point?
I know you've made money, so just or at least ask for a trade. Try to go on a contender. Try to get traded to a contender and be that guy.
And he has the leverage to do it, and we know that the Mavericks, for him, they would go out of their way to do that.
Yeah, but he has that sense of loyalty. But I think that. But Dirk, obviously as a starter right now and playing all those minutes, it's like, oh, come on, Dirk. But if you put him on a team, a contender, and you're imagine Dirk on like San Antonio, something like that.
You spot up shooter in the corner.
Oh my God,
perfect.
Oh, are you kidding me? Come in and play 18 minutes a game or something like that.
Have him paired with Pau Gasol. You'd have literally 2 big guys that can stretch the floor, shoot the 3, and consistently.
Yeah. So, but the only bad thing about that is then you got to have one guy in there that can guard.
Neither can.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's the only bad thing about that. That's why I was saying that have Dirk come go somewhere and come off the bench. Rather than being a main starter.
We see Vince now. Vince is still looking good. He scored 24 points the other night, and the guy he's the oldest guy in the NBA, and he can still dunk better than almost half the young guys in the NBA.
Crazy, man. He's been blessed, man, to not have any major injuries or anything like that.
Yeah, he's just ridden it out.
All those jumps, because you're only allowed a certain amount of jumps, I think, in your lifetime. He's still going, man. It's incredible.
See, I don't like the fact that he's on the Kings just because I'd like to see him on a contender, like we said.
Yeah.
At this point in his career, the guy, he got to the finals with the Magic in 2009, but it really didn't mean much. And because we knew that the Magic weren't going to win that year.
Right.
Actually, was that the year he was there?
No,
he wasn't there yet?
No.
Was it the next year? They had Jay Rich. They traded Jay Rich for Vince Carter. I know they did.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, Vince needs to be on a contender. He needs to be on a team where he can come in, like I said, off the bench also, and just give that spark and come in there, hit a couple of jump shots, and do an athletic play and get guys motivated. You watch a guy like him, 40 years old, doing that as a teammate.
Everyone's going to get up.
Yeah, it gets you hyped up.
See, I want him on the Celtics. I thought he'd be a great role player, and he could split between the 2 and 4, 2, 3, and 4.
He would be good on the Celtics. I agree. He'd be really good on the Celtics.
Well, it sounds like he wants to go to Toronto at least one point before he retires.
Retire there?
Yeah, but that makes sense.
I get it.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about someone a little bit closer to Coach. Coach, we're going to give a warm shout out to your son who's playing tonight and tomorrow against the Lakers and the Clippers. His son is Josh Hustis, number 34 on the Thunder. I got to say, the stats don't really tell the whole story because I can tell you that he only averages 2.7 points per game and 1.8 rebounds per game, but the guy is averaging 13.5 minutes, and as of late, it's steadily gone up. And we've seen plays like the dunk on Joel Embiid, I still think is one of the best dunks of the year.
Yeah.
And I also thought, his defense on Giannis during the game where, they missed the call.
Yeah.
His defense was great. And if it weren't for, the missing of that call, we would have noted that a lot more, Your son is playing really good basketball, man.
Yeah, he's doing well, man. He's, taking advantage of an opportunity. It's been a long time coming. He's just hung in there and just worked hard, hasn't complained. And, he's finally getting an opportunity, man. And, with him, it's just about the reps. The more reps he gets, the more comfortable he's going to get, the more confident he's going to get, and the more production you're going to get out of him. I just think that as far as his numbers are concerned, his numbers just reflect, the team that he's on. We're on a team, he's on a team with 3 ball-dominant guys.
Who are 28th in assists overall, like we were saying.
Right. So, it's like, usage-wise, if you don't touch the ball, you can't score. Obviously you can do other things, offensive rebound, which he tries to do, things like that. But for him, it's just, trying to pick his spots and catch the ball and, have to put it up and hit the corner three or hit the three wherever he's spotting up at. Occasional, tip back dunks, stuff like that. But that's not what this team, what they need or what they, is he's not able to do those kind of things as far as like get more points. But that's okay. Just, the thing for him is just keep going out there and getting the experience of playing with those guys and getting that, high profile on a high profile team. I think he'll be starting again tonight because Andre Robertson is out.
Thankfully.
So he'll be starting. Hey man, I like Dre's a fellow Buffalo. I love Dre. But I know. But Dre brings a lot to the table defensively. He's definitely a liar. He's a huge liability on offense.
Oh my God.
No, he is. He's a huge liability.
I
on
think
offense.
I can't even count how many threes he's airballed this season on two hands.
Yeah, no, he's a huge liability on offense, but he damn sure makes it up on defense, man. And I think for this team it's okay because they got so many scores.
They don't need anyone.
They don't need for him to score. And he's figured out one of the things that I encourage my son to do is to kind of study Dre as far as how Dre moves without the ball a lot. Sometimes but a lot of times it's because the team forget about him because he's not a factor on offense. So I think defenders forget about him, and he's able to kind of slip behind defenders and get layups, backdoor, and stuff like that. But yeah, man, I'm proud of my son, and just looking forward to see what the future holds after this season. See where he's gonna, where he's gonna end up at, where he's gonna be playing.
I try and pay attention to the Thunder games now. I try and watch your son play. I try and watch that entire team play. It's good seeing that your son's playing well. And it's good seeing, honestly, that he's getting more minutes. I love seeing him on the court. And it makes me happy. It makes me happy knowing that. For
it makes me really happy because I know how much he's worked. I know how much he's put into this, man. I know how much, blood, sweat, and tears has gone into, getting to where he is now. But like I tell people all the time, he hasn't even scratched the surface. People haven't seen some of the stuff that he can do. And with him, it's just confidence. And the more confident he gets, I'm telling you, there's going to be things that he's going to start doing. I think that people are going to be like, wow, okay, where has he been at? So
I feel like the next season for the next team or wherever he ends up with, that's when it's like the uptick in everything.
Yeah,
the fuel starts getting bigger with him.
I agree, man. Yeah.
So, number 8 Kobe or number 24 Kobe? Who you going with?
I'm going with number 24. Just because, number 24 was just about, more team than number 8. I mean, obviously number 8 was, such a ball dominant guy. 24 was a ball dominant guy also, but he finally learned from his mistakes as far as like how to relate with other players and expectations and things of that nature. And I think that he kind of figured it out a little bit to the best that Kobe could figure it out. Yeah. Because he still was going to be Kobe. But yeah, 24 was incredible. He still, when he switched to 24, he still had that incredible athleticism. Still was an incredible player. Just a great player, man. Just a killer, man. Just killer.
You had to go with 24. Like as much as I watched 8 when I was a kid, like it was my mom would always say it's the Kobe show. I'm watching the Kobe show. Right. And then when Shaq left, it was even more the Kobe show. Right. And then there was like that switch, the mental switch, like in 2006, right around the time where he requested that trade to Chicago, where things just changed and he became.
That's when they had Andrew Bynum.
Yeah. Yeah. And they became the team that we now knew. Or fortunately lost in 08. I'm very proud of that. Unfortunately, they won in 2010. But he became that guy that we all now know. And it was like he changed mentally. And also it's just, I don't know how to even put it in words. Like from a basketball perspective, there's just, you could see the difference as a player. He went from being the guy that, it was his show to where it became more finesse. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously also because I think, being a student of the game, Kobe's such a student of the game, I think he started figuring things out as far as, like Michael did. Michael, finally figured out he had to start including other players and figured out how to, expunge, less energy and be more efficient. And I think Kobe did the same thing. And I think once Kobe was able to start doing that, I think that it started to show, man. He was still Kobe, still an assassin, still attacking guys. But at the same time, I think he learned how to pace himself a little bit better, which, worked out for the team, so incredible player, man.
All right, so now talking about the Western Conference, we talk about the Rockets all the time. We keep hearing them in the media, Harden going in and out of the line. Well, now going out of the lineup with the injury. Chris Paul coming back and forth in the lineup.
Right.
We have these high expectations from them, but are they legitimately a threat in the West?
No. Regular season, they're going to be good. They're going to, score a lot of points and things like that. But now I will give D'Antoni one thing, though. I like the adjustment that he made as a personnel, from a personnel standpoint, of what they did by bringing in Bamute.
Yeah.
I think that helped them a lot, as far as defensively.
My God, he is just like, he's Tony Allen.
Yeah, he's a really good guy, good size, 6'8", really good defender. He can hit the open shot when he needs to. He doesn't really shoot, but he can hit the open shot. Good enough ball handler to where he can, 1, 2, 3 dribbles, put on the floor, pass it. So I do like that move. And you know who I really like? I like Clint Capella a lot, man. He's improved. I think he's improved so much, man. He's
I
one
agree.
of the, other than Steven Adams, he's the best dive big man in the league. I mean, as far as off the pick and roll, the dive and catching the ball, whether it's the lob or whether it's the pass for the dunk, he's by far, him and Steven Adams are really, really good at that. And when guys are good at that, that's what opens up a lot of those perimeter shots because the defense sucks in. But I don't think, but like I said, for the postseason, though, I don't see anything happening as far as them making any real noise.
No, I agree with you, man. It reminds me of the 2006 through 2008 Suns.
Yeah.
With Steve Nash. They're a great regular season team. We're blown away. Run and gun offense, always moving.
Right.
Then they get to the playoffs, or there's an injury that hits them on the way.
Yeah.
They can't recover. They're playing a 2 QB system, really, with Chris Paul and James Harden. On the floor together, they aren't as efficient, but when they're utilized, on their own with the team, they're great.
Yeah.
And I like the concept, but going far in the playoffs, they'll fume out. They're not going to make a big threat. And, they're going to – we've seen Harden choke already in a system similar to this with just him.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have enough people – on the team to be inserted. If they had a Carmelo Anthony, they'd be better off. They'd probably win. They'd probably be a threat in the West because then they'd have another guy that can get his own shot when needed.
Yeah.
That can work with both Harden and CP3. But if it's just those two, I don't see it, man. Especially with these injuries.
Yeah, I don't see it.
They'll keep going in and out.
They'll be entertaining to watch.
Yeah.
They'll be entertaining, but as far as actually, because I don't even think in a series in the postseason, I don't even think if they got matched up with OKC that they could beat OKC.
No, I don't think so either. I think OKC would slow down the game a ton, play their style, and then Houston would be forced to play their style.
Yeah, I don't even see them beating them. I mean, they'll look good for right now, but postseason, it's not going to happen.
They got exposed, man. These 5 games that they lost, especially the one in Boston.
Yeah.
The Boston one exposed them.
That's a big deficit that Boston came back from.
If you can shut down Harden like they did, the game is done.
Yeah.
The game is done.
I mean, me personally, I don't like all those threes anyway. I think that a lot of those threes are bad shots. Some of those, I mean, if you can be a 3-point team, but when you're coming down on a 2-on-1 break and guys are running out to the 3-point line rather than getting a short 2. I mean, I know it's 3, but it's still 2. 2 is better than a missed 3, and you get nothing.
Exactly, man. When you see guys literally passing the shot out on an open fast break to a 3-point shooter, it's like, dude, you're not in a situation where you need to tie the game. You're not in a situation where you're down by 2. It's not calling for the 3.
Yeah.
Take it in.
Yeah, I don't see guys winning a lot like that. So I don't know, man. It's going to be tough. If what are they going to do? Because I think CP is this is his contract year, right? Yeah, because he only he's now eligible for the extension. And I don't know what Houston's cap is like, if they even have the money to pay him that kind of money, the kind of money that he's going to want, or if they want to even pay him the kind of money that he's going to want. So it's going to be interesting to see. I mean, because it's championship or bust.
It really is.
I mean, it's championship or bust.
And they're in the wrong conference to have that team. If you're in the East, you
run
have
through
that.
the East.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You'll at least run through it, and then you meet someone in the finals, and then at least you're more likely to win. But when you're in a conference with the Warriors, the Spurs, and I'm giving it to them because I've constantly said it. The Thunder, I'm giving them the credit. You're not going to like the result. If you're Houston.
Yeah, I agree.
And
yeah.
All right, guys. I'd like to thank my friend and coach Poncho for coming on the show today. Thanks for coming on,
me,
Coach. I really appreciate it, man.
I love it, man.
Happy New Year, man.
Happy New Year, bro.
And wish the best to your family, your baby, and we'll see you tonight at the Clippers game.
Tonight.
Tonight's the Lakers-Oklahoma City game. Tune in. We'll see what happens, guys. Have a good one.